Hey Narwhals, I'm Luke Narwhal and welcome back to some more weight loss stories. If you enjoyed the video, please tap the subscribe button, turn on all notifications, and destroy the like button. It really helps. To submit your weight loss story for a reward and to enter our Halloween merch giveaway, visit lukenarwhal.com. Link is in the description below. I've given up on so many things. I won't let this be one of them. Let me preface by saying that I'm currently about 30 pounds away from my goal weight and currently about 25 pounds down from my start weight. I'm nowhere near the finish line, but this journey has been one of the more difficult things for me to do in my life. I've tried to lose weight before, but like most things in life, when it became inconvenient, I stopped working towards that goal. Most of the time in life, we, without realizing, choose what we think is most convenient. And sadly, for many of us, that means choosing unhealthy foods and choosing not to exercise. I've always been one of those people. I can eat a cupcake with less struggle than a salad, so why would I choose something I'll struggle with instead of something I'd enjoy? In the past few years, I've had to give up quite a few things. I used to give things up due to inconvenience. Clubs, sports, it was a hassle to get myself to them, so why would I go? But I started to suffer from full body chronic pain in high school and thought very little of it till it wouldn't go away. And doctors suspected gluten intolerance, costochondritis, stress, immune disorders, and a large assortment of ailments, but each test came back negative. Eventually, the pain started getting in the way of me doing some of my favorite things. The pain is worse to my hands, and I used to want to be a professional artist. However, my two main hobbies have been gaming and art ever since I was a child, two hobbies which require a lot of use out of your hands. So slowly, reluctantly, I had to lessen my time in the digital world and my time with the paintbrush. I ended up changing majors from being a graphic design student to an accounting student, just so that I could pursue a career that I wouldn't have to worry about getting taken away from me and my pain. It wasn't until this year that I decided I was going to try to do something about the unhealthy habits I had built up over my life out of convenience. I started on April 12, 2020, and decided that I was not going to quit this transformation. When I set out, I had no specific goal in mind. All I told myself was that I was going to get healthier and break my cycle of eating unhealthily. I started out on keto, and then started exercising with my brother Switch on the game Ring Fit Adventure. Walks around the neighborhood were slowly added in, and then I stopped keto after 6 weeks and moved to simply counting my calories. And now, I didn't quit on keto, as you might think. I never intended to stay on keto for long, just long enough to jumpstart the process. And this road has not been smooth, especially as in August, I moved from living with my family and having their equipment and someone else paying for my groceries to help me, to living in an apartment near my university where I had only the workout equipment I brought with me and was paying for my own groceries. My plateau actually began when I moved and is sticking to my dismay. But I know just as much as I try to ignore the signs, I know what I need to fix to get out of this plateau, so I can keep up with this and for once not quit when something gets inconvenient. I've given up on so many things. I won't let this be one of them. Is starting again. I'm overweight. I have been most of my life, but I was a very active kid, and I would always hear, "You have such amazing stamina for being overweight." And now that I'm an adult, I get, "You have such a beautiful face for an overweight person." Last year, I stepped on the scale at my highest weight, 264 pounds, and I decided to make a change back in June of 2019. I decided to do it for a bunch of reasons, but I definitely didn't do it for the right reasons. I was really successful, losing 31 pounds in the first 3 months. It didn't come without consequences though. I developed a severe eating problem and severe depression, which is why I think I lost the weight so fast. And then my depression worsened and I stopped working out and eating healthy for months and was in the worst state of my life. Fast forward to October 2020 and just newly graduated from medical school and also the victim of gaining all but 8 pounds back. It may have been a multitude of things that caused the weight gain, but at the end of the day, no matter what excuses and what actually happened, most of it is back and there's nothing I can do to change the past. I decided to get back at it, especially now that the stress of school is over. Also, who knows, maybe gaining the weight back was a blessing in disguise, so now I can lose the weight properly this time without putting myself in physical and mental danger like last time. I think going to the hospital for my required hours for school and seeing people there my age, or just a little older than me, having health issues that were further exacerbated by their weight, really showed me that we only get this one life. Why am I going to live it unhappy and not the way I want? I've definitely been taking it for granted, so I'm starting over, excited and as ready as ever. This time, I'll be super focused on my mental health. Also, one tip that I need to follow, but I also have for others, is that you have to rely on yourself when it comes to working out, because just like a fake friend, motivation will leave you when you need it the most. Determination is key. It's the only way to be successful. I definitely have to practice what I preach this time around. The time is going to pass you by anyway. Might as well use it wisely. I feel that I'll be successful this time, and I hope for anyone else who's also starting a weight loss journey all the success. Just know that you're amazing, and no one but you can make you or break you. I just passed my board examination, so October is looking promising so far. Here's hoping 2020 will turn around for all of us. Depression and weight loss. I, like so many others, was obese from a very young age. As long as I can remember, I was the fat guy. I have also struggled with depression from a young age. Though not formally diagnosed until I was in my early 20s, all the signs were there much earlier. My obesity and depression went hand in hand, with one feeding the other. I ate for temporary reprieve of my depression, and then later was depressed because of my obesity. It is a cycle that is all too familiar to many. A lot of my depression was linked to my relationship status. As I am writing this, I am 29 years old and have never been in any type of romantic relationship. This is due to my obesity and the self-esteem issues it causes. The thought of being alone my entire life has long haunted me. The excuse I used for the longest time to not lose weight was that the pain and struggle of losing the weight would be more than the pain I was currently feeling from my weight and depression. And by the time I graduated high school, I'd given up on finding a partner. As long as I could stay away from females my age, I could bury my feelings of emptiness and loneliness. And this was actually fairly easy to do, as I went to college for mechanical engineering, not too many females in that trade. I also got a job at a place where very few women worked. I coasted along for the next 5 years or so. My depression and obesity were still ever present and both getting worse. I had gained about 60 pounds in those 5 years and was now up to a grand total of 460 pounds. As for my depression, I like to think of the analogy of an iceberg. Is some visible at the surface with a whole lot of it buried below. In early 2020, due to some things that happened in my personal life, that iceberg turned on its side and a whole lot of depression was brought to the surface. I was on medication and seeing a therapist, but my depression could not be controlled. I remember in the beginning of April being at the lowest point in my life. My depression had turned physical and caused me pain in my stomach and chest every day. It would start out as a tightness in my stomach and then work its way up to my chest, where it would get so severe I would sometimes gasp for breath. My mind was all over the place. I couldn't concentrate at work and would find myself staring at a wall, completely zoned out. The pain I was experiencing was now greater than the struggle to lose the weight. I didn't have a choice. I was either going to lose the weight or possibly die from health complications. I don't think there's a greater motivator than when death is your other option. I decided that I wanted to live. I completely dedicated my life to losing the weight. Other than my job, getting rid of the weight was my main focus. I put myself in a 2,000 to 2,500 calorie deficit every day. It was the most I could do without losing too much energy. I started out walking 3 miles a day, and this quickly turned into 1 hour of heavy workout at the gym 7 days a week. I lost 155 pounds in 6 months. This puts me at around 305 pounds. I know I still have a long way to go to get to where I want to be, and it is not getting any easier. The weight loss has not gotten rid of my depression, but I will admit some days I do feel better about myself. I am really hoping that when I lose it all and get into a relationship, my depression will be greatly reduced. Anyways, just wanted to share my story with you. If you have read this far, you are a trooper, and I appreciate your time. And that brings us to the end of the video, Narwhals. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more weight loss stories just like this. And once again, I'll be giving away 3 pieces of Narwhal merch this Halloween. The winners get to choose any piece of merch from our shop, a shirt, sweater, or hoodie. To enter the giveaway, just visit lukenarwhal.com/giveaway. The link is also in the top comment and description below. This has been your host, Luke Narwhal, and until next time, have a good one, Narwhals.